evening and welcome to this edition of Newsnight. My name is Charles Odongtho, and as usual, with me in the studio is Andrew Mwenda, old man of the clan. I'm going to mention it, don't worry. He is the CEO of the Independent magazine. Andrew, you're most welcome.
The whole of last evening I was,
because I didn't mention it.
Yes, so I was planning to box you.
And there are people who said, yes, you handled him well, because that title doesn't deserve it. He's not an old man.
Consider those useless people.
They can't be useless. They are your viewers, Andrew.
Anyone who does not recognize my advanced age must be taken to the hottest part of hell and burnt down.
Okay. Now, Andrew, yesterday we discussed this poll on the issue of the contradiction. Today, can we take it a little further and look at the type of people who were mentioned? Kadaga. If Museveni was not running, the people say they would vote for Kadaga, followed by Janet, followed by Mbabazi.
Let me tell you the things that you could actually look at in that. One, I was very surprised by Kadaga's high rate.
Why?
Which is 13% says she should be the one to succeed Museveni as president, and 20% to succeed Museveni as NRM chairman. Because she has not been a contender for that race in the media as far as Amama has been. In fact, what was surprising to me is I thought the months we have spent since December last year discussing this issue of Mbabazi replacing Museveni, and also given Mbabazi's stature, he has been prime minister, he has been minister of defense, minister of foreign affairs, he has been minister of security, he has been secretary general of the NRM. I thought he is the natural successor to Museveni. He would have high ratings. In fact, inside the NRM, he has 10%, Kadaga has 20%. On being president, he has 5%, actually 4%, and Kadaga has 13%, Janet has 9%. Let me tell you what is you should have looked at, is Muhoozi and Saleh. Of the top 6 people who are Kadaga, Muntu, Janet, Amama, and Saleh, there is Kadaga. Of the 6 top,
Bukenya is ahead of Saleh. Saleh is 4%, and then Muhoozi 2%. Bukenya is I think Muntu and all that.
You have put it upside down. Saleh has 2%, Muhoozi has 4%. Muhoozi has 4%.
Yeah.
So of the top contenders to become president, I can tell you there is Bukenya, Amama, Kadaga, Janet, Saleh, and Museveni. Rather, Saleh and Muhoozi. Museveni's family has 3 people there. And I've always told you on this show, please do not undermine the power of something called a brand. You see Coca-Cola. Even if the product of Coca-Cola, its taste declined significantly, or for that matter, there are other people who brought Coca products on the market that taste much better and are even healthier than Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola will remain top because of its brand. You see Colgate. Many people go to ask for toothpaste. Instead of saying, I want toothpaste in a supermarket, they say, I want Colgate. Actually, they don't mean Colgate, the brand. They just mean toothpaste. Such brands, when a product achieves that level of brand identification, that in fact the brand becomes the product name becomes the definition of what you want. In other words, you mistake toothpaste for Colgate. Such a brand is so difficult to dislodge from the market. So the Museveni clan and the Museveni brand is very strong, and that is why you saw Janet's name.
Okay, Andrew, you have already said that, and especially you have mentioned the strength, the probable strengths of Janet, the Pentecostals and all that, her passion and all that. Let's go back to the surprise that you're talking about. Kadaga, since she's the person in the lead, let's talk to her strength. What in particular surprises you? What are her strengths that you look at as an analyst?
You see, to be honest, if there was a contestation for the presidency, in my very stupid mind, I don't see where Kadaga's strategic advantage lies. She's a woman, so in the absence of any other woman contesting against her,
she comes from the East, and you know that
yes, I'm going to that. So she's a woman. It gives her an early advantage among women voters if there is no other woman running against her. 2, she comes from Eastern Uganda. Eastern Uganda has not produced the president, just like Uganda has not. And the natural place for the successor to Museveni should be in the East. So she would carry marks for that. She has been a Speaker of Parliament for a very long time. She was Deputy Speaker, now she's Speaker.
10 years, and now she's Speaker.
And if she can command the support of parliamentarians, she would be able to have an immediate infrastructure for campaigning. You see, to be able to campaign, you need to win a constituency. By the way, one of the weaknesses of BSG as a candidate and the FDC as a political party is that they are unable to win at constituency level. And that's why you can easily be rigged out. Even if BSG had 40% in a constituency, if you do not have a very strong MP, which MP has what they call
capacity,
not just even mobilization, polling agents who are loyal. You see, many times, you know what the security services here do on the NRM. They can get they can plant polling agents on you when the D-Day comes, those polling agents are actually NRM infiltrants into your campaign, so they do not even, when they're sending tally sheets, they can even sign off the wrong.
They do that.
So for you, are seated there, basically you're saying I have a polling agent on a polling station, when that polling agent is an NRM more, and therefore they cheat you. So you need to have very strong presence in a constituency. So if the opposition in Uganda, where they like the opposition in Kenya against Moi, able to win constituencies and capture 50% of parliament, electoral seats of parliament, I can promise you it would be very difficult to rig them out.
So Kadaga has that infrastructure?
That is if NRM MPs are willing to change their allegiance from their party to Kadaga as an individual. Because Kadaga can have overall popularity, which is very low. You can clearly see 20% is a very small. I do not know whether you followed the polls in 2010. The Afrobarometer polls were saying no ability. To be able to run as a presidential candidate, people must know you and identify with your name. Museveni had 100% knowability. People knew him. What was Besigye's percentage?
I don't remember exactly.
75%. So already Besigye was beginning at a very big disadvantage, that if 75% of the electorate do not know about you, that is a significant, that is a strategic risk to your success. So for Kadaga, you can clearly see it is just 20%. She may be leading, but she's leading with 20%.
Of course, we have to know that what we must always note as we discuss this is that these are considerations that are being talked of in terms of if Museveni is not standing. Now, let's go to another issue. The issue of Kadaga leading, followed by Janet, has Uganda come to a point when now we can say we are getting out of this cultural, lock, and that the women can win at the national level? Again,
you need to look at the poll. In the poll, 54% of Ugandans say they are ready to have a female president. But this is the contradiction. 49% of people who are educated say they are ready to have a female president, and about 56% of the people who are in rural areas and less educated are saying they are willing to have a woman president. So even when you say we are getting out of this culture, the people whom we should expect to have gotten out of the cultural prejudice against women leadership, who should be A, B, and C1 class, they voted the least in support of a female president. In fact, it is the D and E.
The E class,
which is the lowest,
yeah.
And the less educated. If you look at the internal polling data, yeah. The less educated, the more rural people whom we should consider conservative and beholden to tradition and culture, by a majority of 56%, 57%, they said we are ready for a woman president.
And yet they are the ones who vote religiously.
Yes.
You and I who stay
so
in the
for
towns
me,
don't
it
vote.
was intriguing that the enlightened sections of the Ugandan society are not yet ready for a woman president, and the less educated, more traditional sections of our society are more ready for a woman president.
As we wind up, we're coming towards the end of this particular show. What about the issue of looking at the first two? None of them is opposition. Muntu comes in, I think, third. Is there a problem with the opposition, how it is doing its work? We are just left with 20 months, and the opposition should be doing better.
Well, the opposition, as have been telling you, cannot do better because, one, it is very weak on message. To have a very good, you must have a very strong message. So they are very weak on message. You can clearly see the issues where they criticize the government and not the issues that the population is taking seriously. On matters like education, where even me, I think public education in Uganda is atrocious. 72% are saying they are very happy with it. So the opposition needs to find the right message. That's one. Two, the opposition needs to build the right machine. Because in an election, you run on the record, the machine, and the message. The record is, if you are an incumbent, what you have done. If you are an opponent, what the incumbent has failed to do. The machine, you must have an organizational infrastructure to be able to communicate that. Three, you must have a message. Rather, over and above critiquing what the incumbent has failed to do, the opposition needs to have a message of what they want to do. Now, if you ask me, I know what the opposition are against. I don't know what they stand for.
They are against corruption?
I know they are against Museveni. They are against Museveni's long rule. They are against corruption. I know what they are against. I don't know what they are for. We need to know, what do you stand for? What do I, as a voter, benefit from accepting that there must be this uncertainty of change? A country like this that has never seen a peaceful change of government, people are always afraid that change will come with violence. So you have to ensure...
Last word, Andrew.
Yes. So the opposition need to reassure people that there can be change without instability.
Well, that was Andrew Mwenda, old man of the clan, and this is the Newsnight. Let me hand you back to the news.